Grandpa Clone Customs is at the top of the market right now when it comes to custom clones. This November, they casually dropped their biggest and best wave yet, and today I'll be reviewing it for you. Let's waste no more time and get right into the review. One of the reasons that GCC blew up was because of their cheap pad printed clone helmets. With the debut of these $5 replacement torsos and more $2.50 helmets on their roster, customers are rolling in. These Obi-Wan and Anakin replacement torsos are an easy pickup. They were made to remove the burn marks on the 2020 Obi-Wan and Anakin figures, and I'm super glad to see it finally happen. I've wanted clean torsos for them for a while now, so I'm super happy with these. Now that I think about it, this Geonosis Padme torso does the same thing. It was made to remove the ripped shirt from the 2013 Padme figure. I don't have that figure, but you can easily throw on some white legs and arms and the GCC Padme head to make her. The Rebel Friend torso is a really fun inclusion. Based off the fan favorite from the Skywalker Saga video game, this design looks great. Note, it was specifically designed so that you can use any flesh tone with it. This will be an easy swap with the upcoming hallway diorama set. For now, I think it looks great with this OG Fleet Trooper head. GCC also released these 3 replica helmets. There's this really niche clone helmet that appeared in like 5 panels of the Young Kanan comic, and then the Waxer and Boyle V2 helmets. The only thing changed here is the removal of some weathering. Honestly, it took me days to spot the difference between the Waxer and Boyle helmets, but I'm sure it made some people satisfied. Naboo Padme is finally back. This was one of GCC's first figures ever to release, and it hasn't been up for sale since. Until now, obviously. Other than the updated face print, it's hard for me to spot a difference between the two when I don't have the original. I've heard from some friends that there were some slight improvements to her design, which is good to hear. Eda Figs pointed out in his video that she technically has 360 leg printing. She has a side leg print and then this small back hip print. I'm not sure what it counts as, but either way, it's awesome. I kinda like how GCC is just barely balancing on the edge of LEGO style with some of their products. I'm always glad to get another one of Padme's many outfits that we saw in the prequels, and I hope to get more. When I saw that GCC was finally making a Cad Bane, I got so excited. I suggested this figure to be made months ago, so seeing it in hand is so surreal to me. Cad is one of my favorite bounty hunters in Star Wars. It's a tie between him and Boba Fett. This fig's design is actually a direct pull from the Skywalker Saga, which is so cool. GCC started off by selling pad printed Skywalker Saga designs, so it's fun to see them still doing that. Plus, it's literally as close as you can possibly get to an official LEGO figure. LEGO's designs on LEGO parts. Except for this hat and breather piece. Since the official parts are too hard to source, GCC used these great ABS molds from $1 knockoffs instead. Great move. No one else is doing this right now, and that's why I love GCC. Apartment Boba is back. This figure originally released alongside Apartment Jango way back when. Jango is re-released in September, so this release makes sense. I really like this figure, it's a fun addition to my collection. It's a cheap and better alternative to LEGO's version of him. No hate to LEGO's figure though, I actually really like it. I just think the medium nougat parts are more accurate. Now, I've never been the biggest fan of Fanon, but I've gotta say this P2 Pons is pretty cool. Commander Pons appeared in the early Clone Wars seasons, only ever seen in Phase 1 armor. A very popular idea of him in Phase 2 armor started circulating and GCC got to it. Taking a closer look, this helmet print is pretty cool. It wraps around the sides of the helmet all the way to the back. I think smaller things like this are still acceptable in remaking LEGO style. I mean, one of the sole points of GCC is to fix LEGO's mistakes. The arms also look really good. The designers at GCC are really good at adapting character designs into LEGO figures. Included with Pons is an in-house printed camo. I'm a huge fan of these. The color shows up great on this material and they're extremely durable. Dogma has finally been remade. Like a lot of the figs in this wave, he released a while ago. His original figure had a resin molded helmet. These resin helmets always had a slight off-white color. I'm happy to see him with an official helmet and arm printing. Other than that, his design is the same. What made November's drop so special was the release of Commander Gree, Commander Wolf, and Commander Bly. Fans have been asking GCC to make these characters for months on end, so you can only imagine how hyped up some of us were to see them finally get made. Wolf was probably the most hyped up fig out of the 3. He has an official LEGO helmet using an unreleased color. GCC did this with Commander Fox back in May. It's so crazy to me that GCC is using official parts that LEGO themselves hasn't used before. Wolf's arm printing looks great. I'm very impressed at how well the arms are printed. As for the helmet, Urban Spidey pointed out in his review that the white design is supposed to resemble wolf ears. On this figure, they just disappear into the fin. I'd like to see this fixed on the V2, but it's not the hugest deal to me. Also, make sure to check out Irvin's review. I may or may not have a segment in there. The only other flaw I noticed was the slightly faded white color on the gray parts. Yoshan stated that GCC tried their best to print the color better, and that's all I needed to hear. Props to the crew for their effort. Commander Bly is such a great figure. A lot of people got hyped over the rumor that Bly is coming in a set this summer, but that ended up being fake news. So GCC came in clutch with him, and they really knocked it out of the park too. There were like 2 absolutely minuscule details that people wanted fixed, but I just couldn't care less. Since GCC used LEGO's new hold helmets, you can throw in some macro binoculars from the 501st Battle Pack and a Cape Cantina pauldron to max them out. Commander Gree is literally perfect. There isn't one flaw in this figure's design. A few months back, the founder of GCC, Yoshan, asked his Discord chat for changes they wanted on Gree's design. I was there to see this myself, and we all discussed things like part choices for a solid 20 minutes. This resulted in a perfect figure that almost everyone was happy about. Gree's arm printing is beautiful, and this official helmet is great. It did raise the price of the figure a lot though, so GCC will be releasing him with a replica helmet soon. If you missed out on him, keep an eye out. The 327th, 104th, and 41st grunts all released alongside their commanders too. I think each of them were nailed. The 41st clone is from Battlefront 2, which I'm really excited about. I love this design, you guys. This 327th grunt looks great with some cloth pieces from CloneCloth and Cape Cantina. I've always liked how GCC fills in the fin with printing, so this looks really nice. Someone on my Discord server spent like $3,000 on an army with these guys. Just goes to show how much the community loves these GCC products. I saved the best for last. P25s is my new favorite GCC figure of all time. That totally isn't biased or anything. The torso was fixed from his previous iteration in June, and more importantly, GCC made their first pad printed clone head. This looks incredible. He has 2 expressions and both look just like the official clone heads. By far the best LEGO face GCC has ever made. I did notice a couple flaws worth mentioning. His knee pads are supposed to be blue, and his arm printing still needs to be updated to the 2020 style. Neither of these really bother me, but I know for a lot of people it does. Hopefully after that LEGO 5s got leaked, people will appreciate this guy more. To fully deck out 5s, it gave him a Cape Cantina cloth set, this awesome Yonak Toys pad printed ARC Trooper backpack, and some Brick Tactical DC-17s. I'm super happy with how this figure turned out, and I can't wait to see his V2. It will literally be perfect. Alright, finally that's all of them. Yeah, I know, huge drop, and it was quite an awesome one. I will say, these drops are getting very expensive. I mean, yeah, they were expensive in the first place, but dropping 5 named clone characters, their grunts, and more named characters in 1 month is a lot. The only thing I can ask of GCC is to spread out these releases more. These figs always sell out right away, and a lot of people miss out. Other than that, GCC is doing great. I can't wait to see what 2024 has in store. That rhymed. Big thanks to GCC for sending these over. And again, thanks so much for 1K. More videos are coming your way, guys. Stay tuned.
It's the police. Drop all your weapons. Is that all? Ma'am, is that all? Ma'am. Ma'am? Is that all? Ma'am, is that all? Ma'am. Ma'am?
ALC out.